when were you a student here and what did you study?
I came here straight after high school, so that was the year 2000, and I did a major in film and television, and it was the first year that they had the major in film and television. I think it was media and information before that, and I started doing a minor in journalism and I swapped to a minor in creative writing. I finished in halfway through 2003 because I failed some units.
And is being here kind of bringing back some memories?
Kind of. It's weird to see all the smoke-free signs, because when I was a film student it was like you had to first get in and secondly smoke Marlboro Lights. But I didn't do any practical units when I was here. I just did screenwriting, so I didn't really spend a lot of time in the studio.
And how did you go from like doing creative writing and theoretical stuff to becoming a director?
I wrote stuff and other people fucked it all up. And so I was just like, really, how could I have done this any worse? And so that was it. But I did do a unit when I was in second year at university called Advertising and Music Videos, which was the first practical unit that I did here. And we had to do a music video, and I was the only person in the group who knew a band, and everyone was too scared to direct my friends, so I just kind of got lumped with it. And I co-directed that video, which was for a band called Curtin, with my friend Luisa Mitchell, who I still work with. And the band like exploded after we did the video, and the album that the song was on got feature album on Triple J and stuff. And so this little crappy video that we did got all over the ABC and got nominated for a bunch of national awards. And so then people just started asking me to do more music videos. And so I did a bunch. And then I had I've been acting since I was 12. So I had a background as an actor. I now had a degree in screenwriting, and I directed by now 10 music videos. So I thought, oh, maybe I should try a film. And so that's where it all kind of came from.
So were you kind of a bit low, like, oh, do I have to? Like, you know, I didn't really want to do directing or film.
I didn't think I could, because there were so many egos at film school with these people who just carried themselves and could quote movies from 1930 or whatever, and I couldn't do that. And so I just thought, I'm not smart enough to do this. And then over time I just realized that all those people were full of shit. And it's simpler than people would have you believe. So yeah. I never wanted to be a director. It just organically happened.
And can I ask, what were you like as a young man then? What would you have been up to back in the day?
Smoking heaps of bongs.
Yeah.
And, I was exactly the same as I am now, except I don't smoke weed anymore.
Were you full of ambition or just...
Yeah, I was telling you off camera before that I think the best advice that I kind of have for anyone wanting to be a filmmaker is don't have a plan B. Because the minute that you do, you're kind of committing yourself to failure. And I just never questioned that all I was ever going to do was be a filmmaker. And I was really lucky in the sense that I was acting, and I think I did my last film role when I was 28 or something. So I was acting until fairly recently. And then I started editing for money, and I also was filming wedding videos. And so I got an ABN while I was at university, and I just made my rent by hocking my ass, doing anything involved in the film industry, running on movies and editing and doing all of that kind of stuff. And I'd still be doing that now. Like, I would rather do that than wait tables, you know? Yeah. So I just committed to the film industry. That was it. That was all I was ever going to do, whether at that level or whatever level. So,
you know, you've made so many films now. You've just come back, I believe you come back from doing another project in America, which I don't really know the details about, but also from Serbia doing Extinction with Netflix. You know, you've had what I would call quite a lot of success now, especially with Hounds of Love.
Thank you.
But would you say that you've made it?
I make a living working as a full-time filmmaker, and I guess I make a comfortable living. I make a grown-up wage making movies, so if that's what made it is, I get paid to do what I do. So I guess it's making it. I have a career in the film industry. So yeah, I think that people get involved in all arts for one of two reasons. One is result and one is process. And if you're in it for the result, leave. But if you're in it for the process, well, great. And that means that you can fail and it's still cool because you enjoyed the process of doing it. And so I just come back from America. Like, what a lot of people don't really understand is 99% of filmmaking is not being on set, it's development. So I have the IP of a book, which I think I can talk about. It's called Colombiano. It's the second book by a guy called Rusty Young, no relation of mine, who wrote a bestseller called Marching Powder. And I have the copyright for that, and I'm hocking that as a TV series. So I was doing that in the States. And I've got 3 movies on the boil over there, and another TV series. So yeah, there's a bit going on, but a lot of it's development. A lot of it is meeting people to talk about, you know, whether they want to finance something or whether they want to be in something. So that's where I'm at the moment. I suspect I will be shooting again within 4 months.
And just bringing it back to Curtin University, the Student Guild's turning 50 years old next year. Do you have any memories of the Curtin Student Guild or Grok Magazine?
I remember Grok a little bit. Grok was fun, but yeah, I just lived in a bubble when I was here. I just hung around this building and with my people and hung around the TAV, but I wasn't really involved with much else. I think when I finished, most of the lecturers didn't even know my name. I was just very invisible.
Were you the guy in the corner?
I was. I was the quiet guy in the corner. The degree that I did here, I could define as a film appreciation degree. It didn't qualify me to be a runner on a set, but it introduced me to some great people. I was saying before, the person I directed that music video with, Louisa Mitchell, is to this day my best friend. I went for a walk with her yesterday, and she produced a couple of music videos that I did for John Butler, and she was the post-production producer of Hounds of Love. And so the best thing about the university was the people who I met and the fact that we had access to gear. Like, it's probably a little bit different now because, you know, your iPhone has got such good quality, but gear was so expensive then, and the uni just gave us the opportunity to access all this stuff. So I just took out gear on weekends and made a whole bunch of shit outside of the assignments.
Do you think it's easier or harder now for students to kind of enter the film industry?
Easier. Because of YouTube and because you can buy these cameras here and shoot a broadcast quality image. So way easier. I think that the thing that everybody has always neglected, and this is why I did a screenwriting degree and not a filmmaking degree, is for some reason I was blessed with having an epiphany, and that was like, well, you know, 5 years ago everyone was shooting on film and now we're all on mini DV. All of this tech is going to change. So why would I waste my uni degree learning the tech? The one thing that never changes is story. And so I think that the technology is so much more accessible now than it was for me, but story and understanding it is just as complex as it always was. And so I think that now students, if they focus on story, they've got all of the technology at their fingertips for cheap to be able to make something of broadcast quality. So it's way easier.
You seem a little jealous.
Well, kind of, but but not at the same time, because I think it was still expensive when I did it. Not nearly as expensive because I was on the dawn of you know, non-linear editing and digital and all of that. So, you know, I've still never shot a frame on film, and but it was still expensive to shoot digital. Like the cameras were like $10,000 or whatever, and like these things are a couple of grand now. And the editing, like even when I bought Final Draft, the software, I bought it on DVD-ROM and it was $1,000. You know, like, and now you can buy it for $79. So I'm not jealous because I think I wonder if I was like born 10 years later than I was, or 15 years later than I was. I wonder if I would have been distracted by all the shiny things, the technology, and not focus on story, which is still the most important element.
And do you have any advice for future filmmakers coming out of Curtin?
Yes, tons. I don't know where to start. Do tons and tons of work experience. So find mentors. The best thing that I ever did was attach myself to people like Ross Hutchins and Sue Taylor, and I made hundreds, well not hundreds, but probably 5 or 6 EPK documentaries. So that gave me the opportunity to get behind the scenes. The first one that I did was on a movie called Last Train to Frio, and the camera that I had on my shoulder, a Canon XL1, let me go to rehearsals, and let me be on set, and let me get to watch this real process, and that was just so eye-opening for me. And so I think try and get on sets as much as possible. If you can do an EPK, great, because that gives you access to everything. Because sometimes if you just get on board and you're a runner, well, you're never on set. You're just getting screamed at by the producer because someone wants a sausage roll and, you know, you're running late. But doing an EPK puts you in the thick of it and you get to see how it works. So if you can do an EPK, do it. But just make shit. Like, make stuff more and more and fail more and more and just love failing. Really. Yeah, I mean, I've done 35 music videos and 3 TV series, like, and most of what I've done sucks. But it all taught me. Yeah, so just make as much as you possibly can, I think, and focus on story.
Cool. All right, well, thank you, Ben. Lovely talking to you.
Yeah, lovely talking to you too.